The receipt lay on the table like a quiet accusation. $0. 00. Not even a single dollar. Just an empty line where relief should have been. For Elena Parker, standing in the noise of a busy diner, that blank space felt heavier than the entire shift she'd worked. And it wasn't just about money. It was about how fragile survival can be when life shows no mercy. If you believe in compassion, hope, and second chances, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more stories. Let's begin. The roadside diner never truly slept. Even in the late afternoon, it pulsed with tired motion, silverware clinking, coffee steaming, voices overlapping in worn, familiar rhythms. Elena Parker moved through it all with practiced calm, the kind built from repetition and necessity rather than praise. At 27, she was already used to carrying more than most. A single mother, she wore exhaustion like a second uniform. Her day had begun before sunrise, packing snacks, tying tiny shoes, kissing her 4-year-old daughter Sophie goodbye before leaving her with a neighbor she could barely afford. After that, it was the diner, where survival came in small, measured acts. That afternoon, a quiet, well-dressed man took booth 6. He didn't announce himself or demand attention. He ordered simply, spoke politely, and spent most of his meal staring out the window as if lost in thought. Elena treated him the same way she treated everyone else, refilling his coffee before he asked, checking on him once more than required, offering warmth without expectation. Care was part of the job, even when it went unnoticed. When the man finished eating, he placed his utensils neatly together, slid out of the booth, and left without a word. Elena didn't think twice about it. There were other tables waiting, a cook calling for plates, and a register line forming at the counter. Customers came and went. That was the rhythm of the diner, and she had learned not to linger on moments that couldn't be changed. Only later, when the rush softened and she returned to clear booth 6, did she notice the receipt. Tip, $0. 00. The blank line tightened her chest, not from entitlement, but from reality. Rent was due soon. The pantry at home was thinning out. Daycare payments swallowed most of every paycheck. The number felt like a quiet reminder of how narrow the margin of her life really was. Elena folded the receipt and slipped it into her apron, reminding herself that kindness wasn't transactional. You didn't do the right thing because it paid you back. Still, the sting lingered as she wiped the table clean and reached for the plate. Then the plate caught. She lifted it again, slower this time, and saw a folded note tucked carefully beneath the edge. It hadn't been dropped by accident. Her name was written neatly on the front. Elena. She waited until the diner grew quieter before opening it, her pulse quickening despite herself. Inside, the handwriting was calm and deliberate. The man wrote that he had watched her, not intrusively, but attentively. He noticed how she spoke gently even when customers were difficult, how she never rushed the elderly man who counted coins one by one, how she stayed professional when exhaustion showed in her eyes. He mentioned the child's crayon drawing tucked into her apron pocket and how she touched it once during the shift, as if grounding herself. Then came the line that made her sit down in the booth. This is not a tip. It's an opportunity. A business card slid out with the note, followed by a folded check. Elena stared at the number, her vision blurring, not because it was extravagant, but because it was practical. Enough to cover rent. Enough to breathe. That night, after Sophie fell asleep hugging her stuffed bunny, Elena sat at the kitchen table with the note beside a cup of tea gone cold. Hope felt dangerous. She had learned that hope often arrived with disappointment close behind. She didn't cash the check. She simply read the sentence again and again, letting it settle without trusting it yet. The next morning, parked outside daycare, Elena finally dialed the number. Nathan Whitmore answered himself. His voice was calm and unhurried. He listened as Elena spoke about her life. Long shifts, constant pressure, doing everything she could without recognition. Nathan explained that he ran a foundation focused on uncovering overlooked talent in small towns. He believed dignity came from work and attention, not handouts. The zero tip had been intentional, not to humiliate her, but to test something simple. Would she remain professional when the world gave her nothing back? And would she notice what most people missed? She had noticed. Elena didn't quit the diner. She stayed and learned. With steady mentorship, she discovered strengths she had never named: organization, leadership, calm under pressure. She helped improve schedules, reduce waste, and train new hires with patience she understood well. The owner began to rely on her, then to trust her. Change came slowly, without applause. Parents found fair shifts. Staff felt respected. The diner became more than a place to eat. It became a place where people felt seen. Years later, it still sat by the highway, looking much the same from the outside. But inside, the energy was different, warm, steady, alive. Elena stood behind the counter with confidence she had earned. Sophie sat nearby doing homework, laughing with staff who felt like family. Once a year, Nathan returned to booth 6. He never left a tip, only a short handwritten note beneath the plate. Elena always found it. And she always smiled, because she understood now that the world doesn't always change loudly. Sometimes it changes quietly. And sometimes what looks like nothing can change everything. Thanks for being here. Like and subscribe to keep more unforgettable stories coming.